Welcome back. Pro-establishment parties, which will have a virtual monopoly in the new legislature, have fended off suggestions that they will act as a rubber stamp. They insisted that there will be a fair exchange of views, as the lawmakers come from different backgrounds. Isaac Lee reports.
There was jubilation for the DAB, which won 19 of the 22 seats it contested.
成績基本符合預期。
Carrie Lee, who heads the biggest pro-establishment party, said the results were within its expectations. With only one non-establishment voiced in the new chamber, the party was asked whether the legislature would be a rubber stamp.
And if you look at the composition of the members in the LegCo this time round, they come from a wide range of backgrounds. But the crux of the matter rests on how we're going to reach consensus. Unlike in the old days, some people paralyze the operations of government, and that actually caused serious harm to the society.
Chow's views were echoed by the Business and Professionals Alliance, which won 7 of the 9 seats it stood in.
Look at the candidates. I think it's important to see how they work together for the betterment of Hong Kong people. It's not from different camps, whether you're pro-government or the opposition.
There were muted celebrations for the pro-business Liberal Party. It will have 4 lawmakers in the new legislature, the same as in the old council. But its leader Felix Chung failed to retain his functional constituency seats. He blamed his failure on the electoral revamp, which saw hundreds of his main supporters dropped as electors. But Chung defended the new system, saying it's a fair one. Isaac Lee, HKIBC.
The chief executive has defended the outcome of the elections, saying voters made their own choice.
But at the end of the day, which are the candidates that voters will choose is a question for the voters, not for the government. So what we like to see is, of course, we like to see people from different backgrounds, but it is not for me to impose my own expectations or requirements on the voters. I think each and every voter have exercised their free will in selecting the candidates.
She said there hadn't been a goal for the voter turnout rate, so the figure in this election cannot be seen as unsuccessful. Lam added a high voter turnout would not be worth it if it was because of the political situation, polarization, or sabotage between candidates. She cited the 2019 district council elections as an example. Lam heads to Beijing tonight for her annual duty visit. In other news, Britain has become the 14th country on Hong Kong's list for enhanced quarantine. Starting tomorrow, arrivals will have to be quarantined at Penny's Bay for the first week before continuing their isolation in hotels. This came as the number of Omicron cases in Hong Kong rose by 5 today to 19. The patients are 4 women, 3 from Britain and 1 from Nigeria, and a man from Italy. All arrived in Hong Kong last week. The city also registered 7 imported cases, 6 with mutated strains. The patients, 5 men and 2 women, came from Britain, Poland, and the United States. Separately, Cathay Pacific flights from New York have been barred for 2 weeks, starting today, after 3 passengers who flew in yesterday tested positive. The observatory has raised the number 1 signal as severe tropical storm Rai approaches the city. It's the first time in 47 years that the storm signal was issued in December.
Rai will be the closest to Hong Kong at around noon tomorrow. Locally, under the combined effect of Rai and the northeast monsoon, wind will be occasionally strong offshore and on high ground.
Rai had earlier ripped through the central Philippines, killing at least 208 people, with dozens missing. More pictures have been released of the devastation caused by the storm. Tens of thousands of homes were flattened by the typhoon. President Rodrigo Duterte, who visited the hardest hit areas, said the survivors are crying out for food and water. More than 400,000 people were evacuated to emergency shelters after losing their homes just days before Christmas. Hong Kong's main stock benchmark has dropped to a 22-month low, weighed down by a retreat in tech and property shares. The Hang Seng Index fell 1.9% as a cut in China's lending rate failed to bolster investor sentiment. Tech shares tumbled with NetEase, JD.com, and Alibaba all losing more than 2% each. Many property stocks kept declining. Evergrande plunged almost 10% after being declared in default by credit rating agency S&P Global. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index was down 447 points. To the top 10 active stocks, Tencent down $8, Meituan down $6.60, Alibaba down $2.50. BYD Company down $14, Xiaomi down 60 cents, Li-Ning down $4.05. To the forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar, the euro is trading at 8.79, British pound at 10.30, and Australian dollar is at 5.54. Over in the UK market, the FTSE 100 is down 77 points. Siobhan Haughey has clinched a third medal in the World Swimming Championships in Abu Dhabi. The 24-year-old Hong Kong swimmer took bronze in the 400 meters freestyle behind two teenagers, Raymond Young reports.
Putting on a poker face, Siobhan Haughey was up against China's Li Bingjie, the favorite for the 400 meters freestyle final. The Hong Kong swimmer was aiming for an unprecedented treble, having struck gold in the 100 meters and 200 meters. Haughey tried to conserve her energy early on and was out of the top three after 2 laps of 50 meters. Her opponents, including 15-year-old Canadian Summer McIntosh and Isabel Gosser of Germany, fell back a little by the quarter mark, enabling Haughey to climb to second behind Li. The 19-year-old Hebei native was untouchable in front, and the crowd's attention turned to the battle for silver between Haughey and McIntosh, who shot up to second after 250 meters. Approaching the final turn, Li had built a big margin over the rest of the field, while Haughey was still trailing McIntosh by half a body's length. Li backed her second gold in Abu Dhabi, adding to her 800 meters victory on Saturday, while Haughey took bronze with a time of 3 minutes 58.12 seconds, just a quarter of a second behind the Canadian. It was still a remarkable run for Haughey, who finished with 2 golds and 1 bronze at the World Championships.
في الحالة رقم 8 ممثلا عن هونغ كونغ الصين.
Ian Ho was the only other SAR swimmer to appear in the final. The 24-year-old sprinter, who grew up in the United States, was in lane 8 of the 50 meters freestyle. He could not catch up with the stacked field, with Benjamin Proud winning Britain's first gold at the tournament after edging American Ryan Held. Raymond Yang, HKIBC.
On to the weather now. Cloudy with rain tomorrow and temperatures ranging from 16 to 18 degrees, remaining cloudy for the rest of the week. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Monday. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Johanna Chan. Thanks for watching. Good night.